Hi everybody and welcome to the very first Definition of DadCast. My name's Jesse with Definition of Dad.
And I'm Brian with Definition of Dad.
This is episode 1, so neither of us are really sure what we're doing. So we're just going to kind of talk through some things, make our introductions, kind of tell you what Definition of Dad is all about, with as comprehensible as possible, right?
As we can make it anyways.
Yeah, right. So if you haven't already, go check us out on Facebook, facebook.com/Definition of Dad. We also have an awesome Instagram account, instagram.com/Definition of Dad or at Definition of Dad.
That's what everything is.
Everything is at Definition of Dad. We also have a Twitter. We have exactly 0 followers on Twitter at this point in time, so if you want to be the first, then go right ahead. That one is also at Definition of Dad. Our goal is to help dads in 2018 and beyond figure out kind of where they're at, where everybody else is at that's in their position, kind of share some stories, some best practices, some ideas, some support for each other, because that's something that dads don't really do a whole lot of nowadays, is kind of talking to each other about.
And probably when it's needed the most.
Yeah. And the crazy world that we're living in now and raising our kids in, it's never been harder to be a dad because you got to stand.
A good dad.
Yeah, it's never been harder to be a good dad.
If so many time constraints, working all the time,
right, because full-time jobs are a thing that's necessary, and unlike the 50s and 60s where dad went off to work and left mom to rear the children, that's not how that works anymore. It's a new age. It's a new, the nuclear family has changed as far as how it looks and who's involved.
And you're always expected to work more than 40 hours. It's not like you come straight out, you know exactly when you're working.
Yeah.
Or for me anyways, that's one thing that's super hard.
Yeah.
About what I work at a factory that's supposed to be set, but the set hours are basically you expect to work overtime, and if you don't, be glad.
Right. And that's what that situation a lot of people are in, to where they're struggling. A lot of parents in general, not just dads, are struggling with that work-life balance and figuring out, how do I have meaningful interactions with my kids while still putting food on the table? How do we work as parents and co-parents to raise good people, and how to figure out what's good for your kid and what's not, and what Definition of Dad is meant to do is to help everybody have that conversation. It's called Definition of Dad because I'm a dad, Brian's a dad, neither of us are moms, right? So we can't really speak from that perspective, but we can speak from the perspective of parenting. So Definition of Dad, while it is geared and targeted towards dads, it's welcome to everybody who has some valid input on any situation that we're talking about or that we're discussing.
And that's one thing we've been not getting very much of yet, which is why we're trying to do more than one form of this, is we haven't got that much of communication yet. Mm-hmm. Going back and forth, making it a conversation between everybody, not just us putting out an article, or we would like to hear you guys, if you're commenting or on Facebook or Instagram, whatever. Yeah. We're going to be responding. We're going to hopefully, we can go back and forth, whether it's, we're agreeing or disagreeing, hopefully in a polite, decent way. Yeah, we can always hope. But increasing the engagement with all these different forms of stuff is what we would like to do. Not just us put out stuff that you read and go, oh, cool,
Right, absolutely. That's what it's all about, and that's why we started this, is to have a conversation with everybody. I am by no means a parenting expert. I'm sure you don't claim to be the same.
I am not.
We are parents. We are dads. We both have multiple children, and we both have a lot of experiences with those children. But we're not the end-all, be-all. What we're trying to do is share our stories and share what we know and share what we've found out on this crazy journey that is fatherhood. And we want to hear those stories back from you. We want to hear those stories. We want to hear how, if I handle a situation one way and I write a blog post about it, I want to comment on that blog post saying, I've never thought of it that way. I may try it that way, but here's how I do it. I want to really have that conversation.
Just as much as we could help anybody out there, you guys could help us just as much or more. There's going to be more. We're 2 people. There's going to be more of you guys. Well, hopefully that's a goal, anyways. Hopefully, there's more than 2 of you guys watching or listening or watching the video or anything like that.
Right. Absolutely.
So you get a lot more input.
I mean, yeah, a lot more input. Again, it's a conversation. It's a community. It's something that we want to do to help make the world a better and easier place for parents and for kids, because nobody really knows it all. Nobody knows exactly how to handle a lot of the crazy situations that we're seeing now that we didn't see 10 years ago. But moving forward, just to kind of give you an idea of what we've already got out there, we already have a Facebook page which just hit 100 likes as of today. It's not a lot, but it's a start. So if you haven't liked us on Facebook, please go do so. We, on that Facebook page, just what was it, 3 or 4 days ago, launched a little funny video that we put together called Dad's Biggest Secret Revealed. Go check it out. It's fast approaching 2,000 views on that already in just a few days. So we're getting a lot of really good responses. It's been shared several times. So go check that out.
It was fun to do.
It was a lot of fun to do. It was our first one and first one of many.
We definitely got more coming, so
yeah.
If you like that one, there's more.
Yeah, first one of many, and we definitely had a good time putting that together, so we're going to do that more often. We've got definitionofdad.com, where we've got some blog articles that I've written to kind of discuss different topics about what we face as dads and as parents. I've gone over kind of what the introduction of what is the definition of dad in our current day and age. Moved to the
electronic.
Oh yeah, digital babysitters. There's one about digital babysitters. Are you the type of parent? Because I have been before, the type of parent that kind of hands your kids a tablet and says, "Okay, leave me alone for a couple hours while I get this finished." That one was more directed at myself than anybody else. And then the most recent one is about, letting your kids experience emotions and letting your kids figure out how to grow up without forcing them to grow up, and how to raise good people. I got another one on the way that's more geared towards co-parenting, as that's the situation that I'm familiar with. I have 2 small children who have 2 separate mothers, neither of which am I currently with anymore. But just kind of going through those experiences, and there have been issues and trials and tribulations, and just kind of speaking from my experience in that's one I definitely want a lot of feedback on. That should be up later this week.
I'm on the exact opposite end of that spectrum. I have become the step parent. Mm-hmm. So we have 2 different completely perspectives on that single subject.
And one of our future podcasts, hopefully coming up very soon, will be specifically geared towards that conversation and what that's like, and the struggles that we each face. Hopefully we'll have a guest on that one to come have a chat with us as well. It'll be a really, really good talk. To kind of move forward with this, we're going to need a lot of support from the community. We're both very passionate about this. We haven't monetized a single thing. We don't have any ads on our website or on our Facebook or anything like that. We're not trying to sell you anything. We're not trying to get you to buy anything. Hopefully one day we'll have some merchandise once things get rolling. But for right now, we just kind of want to get a foundation built. We want to get a good community built, and we want to get some followers with what we're doing. And by followers, I mean participants in the conversation. Yeah. So
we're not doing this to try to be famous.
Right. All right. But we do have a pretty baller Instagram account, if I do say so myself. Some pretty inspirational stuff on there. So go check that out. But really, it's all about helping each other and helping each other grow as parents and dads, and helping each other figure out what we can do to kind of combat some of the crappy stuff that's out in the world. There's a lot of it going on, guys, and it's not easy to deal with. And no matter what your views are or what your beliefs are, I think we can all agree that we want a better future for our kids, and we want a better place for them to grow up. And it kind of starts with us. If we want to make that change in the world, we have to be that change, and we want to help our kids understand what the world is expecting of them, and what they need to do to be good people, and to become functional adults that can handle their emotions and handle their problems and handle just being alive without having to yell at other people or having, terrible feelings towards people or having hate in their hearts. That's we're seeing a lot of that nowadays, and it's not something that we want to perpetuate. So I know
that's one of my favorite articles that you did so far was the one where you're talking about letting your kid experience feelings,
right,
and not hiding the fact that there are negative things in the world, but like letting them experience it and work through it. Because if they don't, that's like the cool thing you said in the article was that, by the way, go read it. Spoiler alert. You should let your kids experience emotion.
Right.
Because then they go later on in life and don't know how to experience or like deal with that internal stuff without your support there.
Yeah. So we were specifically what I was referencing at the beginning of that article is my son and I were watching, it was actually Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, and if you haven't seen it yet, spoiler alert, right?
I haven't seen it.
You haven't seen it yet? Okay,
la.
So spoiler alert. No. Well, we'll just say a prominent character dies at the end, right? And a very, the surviving character is super upset, and it's a very emotional scene in the movie, and it's not gory or gross or anything like that, but it's heart-wrenching. I was feeling emotion while watching this. My 7-year-old son, I looked down at him and he's got tears running down his cheek, and my first instinct was to just go shut the movie off or skip forward or put on something happy, right? Like, it's nothing to see here, feel better, right? But the more I thought about it, the more I was like, no, I need to let him experience. It's just something as simple as an emotion brought on by a movie, but I need to let him experience this because I want him to be able to deal with grief. I want him to be able to deal with sadness instead of letting it consume him later on because he's not prepared to do that, right? And that's what the article is about, is kids who aren't allowed to feel emotions.
And you're there for to help them work through that emotion.
We talk through it. We understand what the emotion is and what it's about, because I want kids who aren't allowed to feel emotion, where their parents are constantly following them with the safety net and making them feel good about everything and hiding all of the bad feelings and the sad feelings from them. How are those kids supposed to be able to handle that later on in life? How are those kids supposed to be able to cope with those emotions whenever they really have to face them? When somebody that they love dies later on in their life, is that grief and that depression going to consume them?
That's something that is very, very real in life.
Yeah. So that's what that article's about. Don't worry, I didn't just read the whole thing to you. There's a lot of good points in there that I would encourage you to go read it, if I do say so myself.
The blog article, from what I'm getting from it, because he's the one that's been writing all the articles, is that's a little bit more of the serious parenting type stuff.
Yeah,
it's not like an article being completely funny and stuff. Those are more like the actual topics of parenting and stuff like that. And I haven't said this to you. You're doing a fantastic job.
Thank you.
Like, for real. Everything's very well written. Everything's it's common sense stuff. Like, you can read it and get what he's saying. He's not trying to be, super, super smart about whatever and using big words to confuse.
I don't know any big words, so it's okay.
But it's easy to read. It's easy to follow. It's easy to grasp what he's getting at. And I think that's testament to you just being open and honest and it's good.
Well, I appreciate that, and that was definitely the intention. That's what the intention behind everything I write. I wanted to be.
Started reading, and I was like,
"Wow, Jesse wrote this? What is it?"
That's cool.
This is actually my first foray into real writing, and I've never really written anything of the sort. So it was really, really cool, and it's really difficult to actually come up with being able to put my thoughts into words.
That'll probably end up helping you too.
That's honestly,
looking inside.
Yeah, it's very introspective for sure. It's very like I said, those articles are written towards me. Like I write those to myself a lot of times because, I'm not calling anybody out for doing anything that I haven't been guilty of myself several times, and I'm not. I'm not.
I think those are probably the best things though. Like, if you look at things that people grasp onto the most. Whether it's movies or it's things that you relate to, people on YouTube, for instance. If you watch someone, sometimes you watch them just for entertainment or information. But the people that I watch on YouTube, it's I connect with them, or you have some sort of similarity, especially with parenting. Parenting is one of those things that a lot of people have similar things, but whenever you're going through it, you're not sure if anyone else has really experienced the same thing, so you might think you're, kind of alone.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the whole reason behind this, is you're not alone on these different subjects, and there may be some stuff that you never even thought of that we've went through.
Mm-hmm.
We could share, you might go through down the road, or that's why the back and forth will help us too as well, because I'm sure stuff like that has happened where we haven't quite went through it.
Mm-hmm.
Especially me, I've got two younger kids. Mine are 2 and 3 right now, so I'm still a baby dad. You've went through a little bit more, years more experience, but
and everybody has a different experience level, and everybody comes from a different family structure. We will have guests in the future and contributors to Definition of Dad that come from different walks of life and come from different family structures and come from different parenting experiences. They have kids of different ages. That's the goal of this. Is this isn't just Brian and I. This isn't we're not trying to keep this whittled down to just the two of us, so that we can talk in a manner that says here's what we've been through. Listen to us. We want to expand that and get a real conversation and a real community going.
Another thing I would like to do, I haven't really said this to you yet, I don't think, is dads to be.
Dads to be, absolutely.
That's something that, I know whenever we found out we were pregnant with my first child, and Mary had already had a child before, so I was kind of the step-parent role, but, going from her being pregnant, all the emotions that come with that, and then I read so many books, so many hours of YouTube videos, it's not even funny. We would go into the doctor's appointments, and I could answer the questions that she was asking the doctor. So that made me feel really good that he was giving the same answer that I would have, I was thinking of.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that would be a good.
You are dad.
Yeah.
In case somebody was wondering that if we're faking this, we are dads.
There's some banshees in the other room, and if you hear anything in the background, there are children here. They're not running wild by themselves. They're accompanied by their mother. To be clear, but
no, we didn't lock ourselves in a room.
I think that would be something that.
No, absolutely. I love that idea, and I think that anybody out there would agree that finding out for the first time that you're going to be a parent is probably the most terrifying, yet exciting, yet elating, yet
especially if it's not planned,
horrifying experience. That you're just a big ball of emotions at that point in time. You're not sure exactly how to feel, and then you got to figure all this stuff out. So having a resource out there for there are a lot of resources out there, but just where you can talk to somebody about it. You can work through and learn about other people's experiences and share what you're experiencing. No, I think that's a fantastic idea, and we'll probably have a special portion of the website that's dedicated to just that type of thing. We're new. We're just starting out.
Yeah.
Definition of Dad is about at the time of recording this video about a month old.
Yeah.
It's not.
Hopefully one day we can look back at this and be like, remember that?
Remember that when we recorded our first terrible podcast and fumbled our way through it because we didn't really plan anything out.
If you're watching this anywhere or listening to this, thank you, by the way.
Yeah, absolutely.
Especially if you've gotten this far. Yeah. Listening through us,
Everybody else that's quit before now, forget them. It's they didn't earn it. But you, the one that's still watching, the 2 or 3 of you that are still watching, that you've earned it. Thank you very much for sticking with us through this.
Hopefully more than that.
The more we do this, the better we're going to get at it. We're going to have some specific topics to go off of in the future. We just kind of wanted to put together an introduction and let you know who we were and what we were about and what Definition of Dad was about and the goals that we have in mind. We've got these podcasts coming out. We want to do all kinds of things. We're not really limited to anything. There's a lot of great parenting books out there and I love to read. So being able to, read a book and share a review on it, share my thoughts on it, or, kids movies. I'm not going to lie, and you'll know from watching the video that we put out, I like kids movies, right? If you're going to have to watch something 250 times, you might as well enjoy it, right?
In the same day.
Yeah, in the same day. You might as well, get some enjoyment out of it. So I want to review movies. Is this a good movie to take your kids to? I want to get into stuff like that. Product reviews. If something makes your life easier as a dad, then let's review it. the sky's the limit as far as what we can do with this, and what we really need from you is input and any ideas that you have or anything that you want to see us do or anything you want to see from us. Don't hesitate to leave that, as a comment on this video or a comment on our Facebook, or send us a message or send us an email. Hit us up on Instagram in the DMs,
or become the first Twitter follower and
or become
there.
the very first Twitter follower and tweet at us, right? We'll definitely get some attention there because you're the only one. But let us know what you want to see from us, because you're as much a part of this as we are, and we want to make sure that everybody who's supporting us and who's following us is getting what they want to see. We're building this and we're doing this because it's our passion, and we're passionate about being good dads, and we're passionate about being good parents and building a better tomorrow for our kids. But we need, we're not the end all be all. Like I said, we're not experts. We need your input. We need your feedback. Let us know if you like something. Let us know if you don't like something. Let us know if you want to see
what you don't like.
And what you don't like
it. That's the only way we can improve.
I don't like your haircut.
What could I do to make it better?
What can I do? But as always, the input is definitely greatly appreciated. We can't tell you, like I said, we just hit our first 100 followers on Facebook, and we're getting close to 50 on Instagram. We'll get that one on Twitter eventually. We are getting some good comments on the blog posts. There are quite a few in there that raise some good points and some good additions to the conversation. So make sure you're checking out those comments too, because that's where a lot of this stuff is going to happen. Comments on the YouTube videos, comments on the videos and the posts on the Facebook page, comments on the actual blog posts on the website. Jump in there, make yourself known, share your story. We want to hear from you. We want to know what you're about. So
we are very real people. Like, we're real dads. We're real people. We like talking. Yeah, we found that out from shooting that skit that one day.
We'll get better. Don't worry, I promise.
That's one thing I want to do more of, though.
Yeah.
Like the funny types of stuff, and I also want to do. I'm thinking of ideas of the more serious subjects.
Yeah.
Shooting little shorts about it.
Yeah, absolutely. But there's no telling what you'll be able to see from us in the near future. I can tell you that coming up within the next few days, actually probably by the time that this actually gets posted, I'll have that blog post up, the new one about co-parenting. We're going to try to do these as often as we can. I'd love to commit to a time frame on those, but we both work full-time jobs. We're both also full-time dads, so
and we businesses on the side.
We got stuff going on the side, so we want to provide you with as much quality content as we can. So hopefully one day we'll be able to quit our day jobs and just do stuff like this full-time. But in the meanwhile, bear with us. We'll give you as much as we can, as often as we can. Really, thanks for sticking with us, and thanks for joining in with us. Thanks for supporting us and following us along the path, because there's no telling where it will lead. Could be huge. Could be just a hobby.
Stick with the 0 followers on Twitter though for the whole lifespan.
We may never get a follower on Twitter. I don't believe that. I think we'll have one
at least
within.
3.
We'll have at least 3 within 24 hours of this video going live.
Hopefully.
That's my bet. 3. Okay, so 1, 2, and 3. You're out there. You're watching this video. I believe in you. Go to Twitter. Open up your app and follow at Definition of Dad. But that's really all I had to say. This is just kind of our first introductory, getting to know you, getting to know all about you podcast. It's not even really a podcast. I have no idea how long we've been going because I haven't been timing anything. We're going to try to give you some decent content, and I don't know either. But
that's recording by bars.
We're gonna awkwardly sign off now. Again, my name is Jesse Johnson with Definition of Dad.
I'm Brian Swino.
And thanks for joining us. Leave us a comment in the comment space.
Let us know
below.
who you are.
Let us know who you are.
And get to know each other.
Give us your dadding experience, or your momming experience, or your grandparenting experience. Let us know where you're coming from. Check us out. Again, I'm going to plug the social medias once again. At Definition of Dad on Instagram, on Twitter, Facebook.com/Definition of Dad, and of course our official website, definitionofdad.com. Thank you all for joining us. Have an awesome day, and we'll catch you later.
See ya.